Hi, I'm James Bruce. You're watching MakeUseOf.com reviews, and this is the Doogee X5 Max, an upgraded version of the X5, which was widely known as the cheapest 5-inch Android smartphone around. This year's model adds a 67% bigger battery, a metal outer rim, and a fast fingerprint sensor, while still sticking to the same price point. How much is that? Well, it's $65. Yes, you heard me right. $65 for a 5-inch smartphone, and that's including shipping. Internally, there's an MTK 6580 CPU, 1GB of RAM, a Mali 400 GPU, and 8GB internal storage. Around the rear, there's a plastic back panel, which opens easily to reveal the removable 4000 mAh battery, dual SIM card slots of micro and nano SIM card, and a micro SD card slot for expandable storage up to 32GB. Now, although the rear panel is made of plastic and it's quite thick, overall it actually feels really quite solid and well built, and it sits comfortably in your hand. The screen is a rather gorgeous 1280 by 720p 5-inch IPS panel at just under 300 pixels per inch. The pixels are imperceivable and it's nice and bright. If you're coming from another budget smartphone, you're really going to appreciate the added screen size. It makes a huge difference. So where's the catch? At $65, there are of course going to have been some compromises. Apart from the rather lackluster internal specs that we've talked about, it's also limited in network connectivity. The Wi-Fi only has BGN and the cellular network is limited to 3G. In addition, there's only a 5-megapixel camera for both the front and the rear. So it's not exactly going to replace your digital camera, however, it gets the job done. In use though, the general interface is surprisingly snappy, with no perceivable slowdown in the menu systems or app screens. AnTuTu scores it just under 24,000, which is roughly in line with a Google Nexus 5 or a Samsung Galaxy S4. So while low-end by today's standards, it certainly isn't a terrible experience. You're going to struggle with heavier games, but it handles lightweight casual gaming absolutely fine. It does support various Android features such as OK Google from the lock screen, double tap to wake, that kind of thing, but I found those could be a little unreliable sometimes. For instance, the fingerprint unlocking sensor on the back reads my fingerprint quickly, but more often than not, it rejected it as an invalid print. I also found the double tap to wake feature didn't always work. Battery life, however, is really great, with the big 400 mAh battery providing standby power for well over a week and 1 to 2 days in daily normal use. So, should you buy the Doogee X5 Max? Well, clearly you're not going to be upgrading to this phone if you're used to a $600 handset. It's not designed for you. But as a my first smartphone, or even just if you're very budget conscious, it's really value packed. At just $65 and running an almost native Android 6.0 interface, you may want to pick one up just as a backup, or even for that odd camping trip where you want to take something which isn't going to be the end of the world if you lose it and is a bit more rugged than your average high-end smartphone. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of super thin smartphones anyway. The first thing I did with my new iPhone was to buy the biggest, thickest, ugliest case I could find to wrap it in. If you're also annoyed by the latest trend of incredibly expensive handsets that are about as fragile as a flower, then you're also going to like the Doogee X5 Max and won't feel like you have to wrap it in bubble wrap everywhere you go. It may be a low-end smartphone, but you really won't find better value than this if you're looking for an Android device. You can pick yours up now for $65 from gearbest.com or your favorite Chinese import site. Though if you want to buy off of Amazon, you'll find it's about $10 more. We're also giving away one of these to one lucky reader over at MakeUseOf.com, so click the link in the description if you'd like to enter, and use the code X5ROCKS for one bonus entry. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe for this channel for more weekly reviews and giveaways from all of us at MakeUseOf.com.